In the world of high-stakes media and global power, few moments spark as much controversy as when a renowned talk show host confronts one of the world's most influential figures. But what happens when the tables are turned? Picture this: a popular talk show, millions of eyes glued to the screen, and a guest whose words threaten to ignite a firestorm. Enter the scene Elon Musk, tech mogul and visionary, a figure whose every move is scrutinized by the public. And standing across from him, a bold and unrelenting woman, known for her sharp wit and even sharper tongue. But this is no ordinary interview. It's a tense, provocative exchange that will make viewers question everything they thought they knew about both Musk and his critics. The stage is set for a showdown of words, one that promises a shocking twist no one saw coming. What could possibly happen when a woman dares to speak her mind about the man who's reshaping the world? Buckle up. You're about to witness a game-changing moment in television history. The studio buzzes with anticipation. The audience is eager to witness the next big moment on this popular talk show, but no one expects the controversy that is about to unfold. In the spotlight, Elon Musk, the billionaire innovator and CEO of SpaceX and Tesla, sits confidently across from the host, a sharp-witted woman known for her fearless takes and unfiltered opinions. She's built a career out of challenging the status quo and confronting the titans of the industry, and tonight, she's ready to do just that. Her questions begin innocently enough, almost complimentary, drawing Musk into a conversation about his successes in the tech world. You've revolutionized space travel, Elon. You've built cars that drive themselves. But what's next for you? Are you still focused on pushing the boundaries of science, or is it time for you to switch gears and focus on something more, let's say, grounded? The crowd chuckles lightly, intrigued by her opening. Musk leans forward, his signature calm smile never faltering as he answers, "The sky's the limit. If we don't push forward, if we don't aim for Mars, then we're just stagnating as a species." It's a typical Musk response, showcasing his unwavering belief in innovation and his ambition to change the world. But the host isn't satisfied with his answer. She tilts her head, her eyes narrowing with subtle challenge. "You've said before that you're not afraid to fail, but your ventures have come under fire for failing too often. Tesla's production delays, SpaceX's rocket explosions. At what point do you admit that some of your dreams are too big, even for someone like you?" A gasp ripples through the audience. The tension in the room thickens. Musk's smile doesn't falter, but the atmosphere shifts. He leans back, unbothered by her question but clearly aware of where she's trying to take this. He responds with a hint of humor. "If you're not failing, you're not trying hard enough. I believe in learning from those mistakes, and each one brings us closer to our goals." But the host presses on. "I don't think people see it that way. Many of your critics see you as a man with more ambition than sense. You seem to think you can change the world, but your failures don't inspire confidence in those who look up to you." The audience is divided. Some nod, agreeing with the host's critique, while others appear uncomfortable with the pointed nature of her questions. Elon, however, remains composed. "I understand skepticism. It's natural when you're doing something groundbreaking. But I've always believed that to make real change, you need to be willing to face criticism head-on." The host isn't letting go. "But isn't there a point where being too bold and too ambitious ends up hurting people? Look at the workers in your factories. The labor issues, the health and safety concerns. You talk about sending humans to Mars, but what about the people here on Earth?" The crowd murmurs in agreement. The host's tone is sharper now, more direct. She's not backing down, and Elon knows it. She's going for the jugular. "You're not the first visionary to think big, but you are one of the few who has faced serious criticism for ignoring the impact of your ventures on real lives. How do you reconcile that?" For the first time, there's a flicker of tension in Musk's expression. He leans forward, his hands steepled in front of him, his voice steady but firm. "I care deeply about people, and the issues you're raising are important. But we can't make progress without pushing the boundaries, without taking risks. Yes, some mistakes have been made, and we're working hard to address those issues. But the work we're doing is bigger than any one company, any one person. We're trying to change the future." The host narrows her eyes. "But isn't that just a convenient excuse? You talk about the future, but it seems to me that the people you're stepping on in the present don't matter to you. The backlash against you isn't just a media spin, it's real, and it's growing. So, let me ask you, are you more concerned about being remembered as a great innovator, or as a man who sacrificed the present for an uncertain future?" A hush falls over the audience. Musk's face hardens slightly, and for a moment, the air seems to crackle with the intensity of their exchange. The host's words have struck a nerve. But Elon is a master of deflection, and he doesn't take the bait. Instead, he leans back, taking a deep breath. I'm concerned about making a difference. If people don't understand that, I can't change their minds, and I can't control how they perceive me. The host scoffs, her voice rising with disbelief. Of course, you don't care about public perception. You never have. But that doesn't mean the rest of us don't see what's going on. You built your empire on the backs of others, and it's time you face that reality. The confrontation escalates. Musk's usual cool demeanor starts to crack ever so slightly. He stands his ground, but the stakes are higher now. There's no telling how this interview will end. Will Musk respond with his usual charisma, or will he lose his temper in the heat of the moment? The tension is palpable, and the audience is riveted by the clash of titans before them. In the midst of this exchange, the host makes one final remark that will echo long after the cameras stop rolling. You're a visionary, Elon, but at what cost? It's a question that lingers in the air, and for a brief moment, it seems that even Musk might not have an answer. The tension in the studio reaches its peak. The conversation has taken a sharp turn, and the air feels thick with anticipation. Elon Musk, usually calm and in control, now faces a woman who's not backing down. The host's final question hangs in the air, its sharp edges lingering in the silence between them. You're a visionary, Elon, but at what cost? The words seem to cut through the calm exterior he so carefully crafted, and for a fleeting moment, something flickers in his eyes. The audience waits, breathless, sensing that the next few seconds could change everything. Musk takes a slow, deliberate breath, his hands gripping the armrests of his chair. He's faced scrutiny before, but this is different. This woman has tapped into something deeper, a vulnerability he's kept hidden behind his public persona. For a brief instant, the man who's conquered the business world, who's sent rockets into space, appears uncertain. It's a rare moment, and the audience feels that this is the breaking point. He stands up abruptly, his chair scraping against the floor, a gesture so unexpected that the audience collectively holds its breath. The host remains seated, unflinching, her eyes locking onto his. The tension between them is palpable, one poised for confrontation, the other for an answer. At what cost? Musk repeats the question quietly to himself, his voice low but unmistakably fierce. There's a brief silence before he speaks again, his tone now calmer, more reflective. I've spent my life trying to do things that most people think are impossible. But sometimes, you have to be willing to take risks that others won't. And yes, those risks come with consequences. But I believe the payoff is worth it. The audience is hanging on his every word now, sensing that Musk is opening up in a way they've never seen before. But the host isn't finished. She pushes once more, sensing that he's at his breaking point. What about the people you've left behind? The workers, the communities, the ones who borne the brunt of your vision. How do you justify that? His jaw tightens, his gaze hardens, but his voice remains steady. I don't justify the pain people feel when things go wrong. I wish it were different. But I can't change the world without changing things that aren't working. And sometimes, that means confronting the hard truths. The host leans forward, her voice barely above a whisper, yet it cuts through the tension like a knife. But what if those hard truths come at a cost you can't pay? The room goes deathly silent. Musk's hands tremble slightly, betraying the calm exterior he's worked so hard to maintain. It's as if the weight of the question has finally broken through. His eyes flicker with doubt for the first time in this entire exchange. Then, something unexpected happens. Musk steps toward the host. His next words are measured, but they carry the weight of years of internal struggle. Maybe I can't pay it, but I'll die trying. The words hang in the air, and for the briefest of moments, there's no sound but the hum of the studio lights. The host stares at him, the battle between them momentarily paused. For a fleeting second, the audience sees not the tech mogul, not the billionaire visionary, but a man who is wrestling with his own sense of responsibility. The host doesn't say a word. The cameras capture the moment, the raw emotion now visible on both their faces. The exchange ends with no definitive winner, but the tension has been released. The studio, once thick with animosity, now feels oddly subdued. They both sit down again, the air between them different. The interview concludes with no more jabs or probing questions. Only an unspoken understanding remains. As the cameras cut to commercial, the audience is left in stunned silence. What they've just witnessed isn't just a battle of words, it's a glimpse into the soul of a man who, despite everything, is still searching for answers. The host, too, remains quiet, her gaze lingering on Musk as the final credits roll. Both have been changed by this moment, in ways that no one could have predicted. The world will continue to debate the cost of Musk's ambitions, but for those who watched, this confrontation will be remembered as the moment where the mask came off, revealing more than anyone expected. As the final credits roll and the lights dim, the world is left with a lingering question. What have we just witnessed? The confrontation between Elon Musk and the talk show host was far more than a battle of wits or a clash of ideologies. It was a moment of raw, unfiltered truth. A moment that peeled back the layers of ambition, risk, and responsibility, showing the human side of a man who has often been seen as a force of nature, untouchable and unreachable. In the aftermath, Musk's words echo in the minds of viewers. "Maybe I can't pay it, but I'll die trying." These words carry weight beyond the realm of business or space exploration. They speak to the heart of human determination and the willingness to sacrifice everything for a vision of a better future. Musk may not have all the answers, but his journey reminds us that progress, whether personal or societal, comes with sacrifices. And those sacrifices, no matter how difficult, are part of what makes us human. The host, too, undergoes a transformation. Her sharp words, meant to provoke and challenge, reveal a deeper concern for the consequences of unchecked ambition. But even she recognizes that Musk's quest, though imperfect, is one driven by a desire to make the world better, even if it means facing uncomfortable truths. As the cameras fade, she reflects on the delicate balance between ambition and empathy, understanding that perhaps the world needs both the dreamers and the realists to create a future worth living in. The story leaves the audience with a powerful message. It challenges us to look at our own dreams and aspirations, to examine what we are willing to risk for the future we believe in. Are we willing to confront the hard truths, to face the consequences of our choices, and to continue pushing forward even when the path ahead seems uncertain? The story of this showdown isn't just about Elon Musk or the host, it's about all of us. It's a reminder that no vision is without its flaws, no path is without its obstacles. But it's in our willingness to keep moving forward, to take risks, and to confront the challenges head-on, that true progress is made. The question isn't whether we will encounter failure, it's how we will rise when we do. So, as we move forward in our own lives, let us be inspired by this encounter. Let us embrace the boldness to chase our dreams, even when the world doubts us. And let us remember that it's not the mistakes that define us, but how we rise from them. The future is not shaped by those who play it safe, but by those who dare to fail, learn, and try again. We all have the power to change the world one bold decision at a time. And as for Elon Musk and the host, they both changed in ways no one could have predicted. But one thing is clear, their conversation, their clash of ideals, has left a mark that will last long after the cameras stopped rolling. It reminds us that the future is uncertain, but it's also ours to shape.